Morning, everyone. So today's video, I don't have Carmen with me. She is quite busy this week, so I am doing this by myself. And one might wonder why I am wearing this at the moment. People in Melbourne would know this is the start of hay fever season, spring, and I get terrible hay fever. So my one of my eyes are really bloodshot at the moment because of allergy. I have taken the tablets. Hasn't really kicked in yet. So hence the sunglass inside the house. Uh, Anyhow, so without further delays, today's topic, a bit of a social issues that we're currently facing. I think it's everywhere in the world, but I'm gonna focus on the place or the city that I live in, which is Melbourne. Truth be told, it was voted as one of the best places to live few years back to back. Sometimes I wonder how, but it did happen. I think we have few good things about this place, just like any other city in the world. But there's also some not so good things about. Everyone who has lived in Melbourne would know about the weather, and it's not the best. It goes everywhere. So I'm not going to talk about weather. But I am going to talk about something a bit more serious than the weather. For I've been living here almost 12, 13 years by this point. And for the last few years, I don't know, 7, 8 years, I kind of feel like we are in a decline from the living standards or the qualities that what we are used to when I moved here. And it may have a multitude of reasons behind it, but it happens. And you may have felt the same, you may not. But if you do, and if you have any experience or anything that makes something relatable to this feeling, you can comment down. Uh, if Carmen was here, I would ask her like what's her experience is, but at the moment I can't. And I told her what I'm going to speak about today, but I haven't given her the full rundown. So maybe we'll do another follow up with her, possibly in the next coming weeks. So there's one of these few things that I always felt about Melbourne. It's a very good place to live. The the living qualities, the standards are all there. But lately, I feel like it's going down. It could be the public transport, it could be the way things are moving, everything gets getting expensive, inflation, all that usual stuff is there. So, the reason for today's topic happened probably a couple of months ago, and this happened to me personally, so it's my own experience. We had few occurrences where people who are in the young age bracket. So when I say young, I'm talking about ages between 15 to 25 or 30, you know, young adults. Uh, we had an issue with them wielding machetes and going to public places, starting fights, and again, really public places like shopping centers where people and families go there with their children and all that. So, my experience is I went to a shopping center a couple of months ago, a place called Northland, and I wanted to get some basic things from Kmart or something. And I was getting a coffee, and all of a sudden, I hear people screaming, and I didn't know what was happening. Then somebody just shouted out, "They shot him!" And again, that was a trigger. Everyone started running, panicking, and children's getting lost in the whole mess. People going everywhere, and no one knows what's happening. Then I was just sitting there and having coffee, and it was one of those coffee shops in the middle of the shopping center, so it doesn't have any walls or anything. So they stopped making coffee because it was unsafe. And the next thing you hear is the emergency alarm breaking out, and it starts saying evacuate. It's not a drill, please do evacuate. Then you hear people screaming that they're fighting, they have machetes, someone got stabbed, all that. And you don't know what's happening again. So the security of the shopping center shows up and asks us to get into any store and shut the doors. And again, people are running around. A lot of people are not convinced about what's happening. I was one of them, because I didn't see anything. I can hear these commotion, but I didn't know what was going on. Then, after a couple more minutes, the police showed up, and the police showed up with their guns drawn. So at that point, everyone kind of knew this is something really, really wrong is happening here. So we all got into a store, shut the door, and every 10 minutes we will just open up and check what's happening. And the police is still running around in the shopping center with their guns drawn. And we were stuck in that store for almost an hour. And after an hour, we had another announcement saying, it's clear now, the police is cleared now, and you can safely leave the premises. So we opened the store gates or the shutter and slowly walked out to the nearest exit. And while I was walking out of the exit, I saw the SWAT team with their guns drawn. They had captured 3 people. And these 3 people were, again, very young kids, probably less than 20 in age. So that happened. So we all walked out. And the next thing is, because everybody wants to leave at the same time, it's a huge gridlock. So no one can leave because, cars after cars, and it's just messy. So I waited like another hour and a half just to get out. So the story is like, yes, I wasn't affected because I didn't have to face anything. But what happened is 3 or 4 youngsters went into this place and they had another rival gang or something. Again, we're talking about kids here, less than 20 or 22, that kind of an age. And they have gangs and they're fighting each other, and they had machetes and knives and all that kind of stuff. I think someone got injured. Nobody was shot, but that was just one of those things that people were saying to each other. There was no one getting shot there, which is good. But these people were captured and the police took them. But there was a lot of people who were traumatized. Well, I am by myself, so I didn't have to look after anyone else. I did console some people at at the show, at the center, but there was a lot of families with children who were kind of misplaced when people are running around, and it's not the best experience on a Sunday afternoon when everybody was wanting to have a good day out or watching a movie, things like that. Messy. And one of the things that bothered me is these kind of things keep happening. It's not the first and it won't be the last. And a couple of weeks later, there was another incident happened in the same place where there was a car, like an SUV. I think it was a stolen SUV, was driven through the same shopping center where people walk. And I don't know. I think they got caught as well. Again, stupid things people are doing. A couple of weeks ago, some of them, again, stole an SUV, drove past a lot of things, and they ended up in Burke Street, which is like smack bang in the middle of the city. Hit someone, but they were okay, got caught. And the interesting thing was these people, I think there was 4 or 5 kids, and some of them were on parole for exactly doing the same thing. They were caught before and they were given bail and they did the same thing again. So it makes me wonder, like a legal system that gives bail to repeat offenders on whatever basis they think that is the appropriate action to do here. I understand that there's a factor of age, and they are tried in a different way, they are looked at in a different way. But when you have repeat offenders and you grant them bail on a good faith or something along those lines, you are you're taking a gamble. Like, what if someone got really hurt? What if someone got killed? Who would be responsible for that? Yes, these kids, I would say kids, because of their age, uh, when they do the same thing again and again and again, I think we may have to look at it with a different set of eyes than providing bail or giving them, a very small sentence or like a slap on the wrist, something like that. So there's that. The legal system, or the people who provide such ideas, or like a magistrate or a judge, whoever, I always felt, or the people in that category who lives in the upper echelons of society, most of the time they will not run into the repercussions of their judgments because they live far away from all these things. It's the common folk that has to live with their decision, and that's not fair. I know there's a lot of issues with that, but someone has to look at this as a problem for the entire society. And there may be multiple reasons why people end up doing the things they do, and those needs to be addressed. I'm not saying that there's a magic wand you can literally swipe and things will get fixed. It won't. But we have to start somewhere. And the police system in Victoria, they're really good. They have helped me in the past. They have also looked at my case and didn't do anything. So I have both good and bad experiences. But I do know for a fact that they are very under resourced and they are very stretched to their limit. I think last year or the year before, I used to see cop cars all over the place with this tagline, unpaid or not paid enough. And these people put their lives in line for the greater good for the society. And if you can't take care of them, there's something wrong in that, because it is a dangerous job and they needs protection, and it's a hazardous job, so that needs to be recognized. Underpaying them is not something I would ever advise. And it's one of those funny things that, because Victoria is like one of those states in Australia where the tax is really, really taxing. Tax is taxing. There's a lot of taxes. But sometimes you wonder, like, what are they doing with all this money? Because the stuff they are supposed to do is not getting done, or it doesn't feel like it's getting done well. Maybe they are, but I kind of start feeling it's not being utilized the way it should be. So that's another gripe I have. So because of all these things, you kind of feel like, yes, you're living in a first world country with one of the best cities, but you don't feel that because of all these situations, because you think it should be better, but it's not. Which brings me back to why I think, or my assessment. I'm not an expert in this thing, so if you have a different opinion, please, by all means, comment down. Why do people turn to crime? Like, especially young people. Is it because of there is this idea that you only live once, so you need to have the most amount of materials that you can possibly have, and for that you need to, you know, turn to crime, because if you do honest work, it takes time and people don't want to wait. It's one of those things that everybody wants to get the most branded items, living the high life, champagne, driving BMW cars, and all that. And I don't know whether that is something that fueling to this idea that you have to make money quick, and okay, there's nothing wrong in making money quick, but you can't do it anyway, or I wouldn't advise to do it. No matter how you make it, if you make it, that's okay. I don't think so, because I think you have to be conscious about the way you make money. If you're stepping on someone else to make a quick gain, I don't know whether I can agree with it. But then again, I don't know, I'm 40, so I can say these things. Uh, so where do these ideas come from? Because of social media? Because you see everyone's having the best highlight reel everywhere, and you want to be that? Is it because people are more shallower? I don't know. It, because everybody's crazed about showing it off, that you have wealth, you have material, and the society we live in is enforcing these ideas too, because it values, I don't know, brands or glitz and glamour than the depth of people. So I can't fault young people for entirely being, for into this way, because this is all they've been shown. And it's really hard to keep your life straight when keeping yourself straight doesn't give you much of a recognition for being that way. But if you make it somehow, and if you have money, that has been valued. So it's easy to slip up. I have been to places where, like every other city, there are places in and around Melbourne where the socio-economic strata or the different sets of people don't intermingle a lot. So you can see places where people are of less fortunate, let's say, crammed together, and the services or the social uh, protective measures that we are supposed to have are not reachable to them. Again, multiple reasons. They are they may be from a different place. They may be immigrants. I'm an immigrant myself. So there's a lot of issues that comes with it. And if you are not provided enough support, it's likely that you will end up become isolated and disillusioned. So it's easier to make that jump to a world of crime where you think the society has wronged you. So things like that also become a motivation for people, especially youngsters, when they don't have enough pointers what to do. And it adds the fuel to the fire. So uh, I know it's just one of those things that been bugging me for last couple of months, especially after me being stuck in Northland shopping center for a couple of hours without knowing what the hell was going on. And I think about this, and again, I wanted to talk about this for a few months. And a couple of weeks ago, the things that happened in Burke Street also made me like, you know what, let's talk about that. I don't know what the fix for any of this. I'm not a policymaker, I'm not the government, I'm not in that sort of powerful positions. But I think young people need to be shown a better way by community leaders or engagement, career pathways to be provided, things like that. Because I don't know whether it's not done in schooling system. I didn't study here, so I don't know how this is done here. Because a lot of people seems to be lost, and they don't have a clear way or clarity about what to do in their lives. And when you have everything is kind of messed up, it's not the best place when you look at it that way. Money doesn't make everything magical. It may give you that feeling, but it doesn't. And a lot of people, and this is another thing, and this is general for everyone, okay? You have to be okay with discomfort. Life isn't all rainbows and sunshine. This is Rocky. I'm quoting Rocky. But I have always felt that. Because if you're not happy to take on some bumps along the way and keep moving without without faltering, there is something you that's a lack of values, I would say. Because yeah, life isn't all rosy, but it doesn't have to. That's what gives you perspective and goals and depth and character and things like that, rather than going for the instant hit of dopamine or happiness or the value that you think you get by showing off to others. I don't think it's going to last, and you'll end up feeling empty anyway. uh, so yeah, people, when they are left alone to their devices, isolated, looking at highlight reel, they will end up being completely chained to their vices and do things like that are not productive. And young people, especially if they don't the right choices in that age, it's very easy to end up in the wrong places really, really fast. And before you know it, your life could be turned completely upside down. And that's not something anybody wants for anyone. And I hope people change. I hope people see this. I hope the policymakers, the governments, the people in power, the people in privilege see this issue as a social issue. This is not just one thing. It's connected to a lot of things, and slowly start fixing this. The school system has to be fixed. The after career programs, the schooling things, the programs to help other people, underprivileged, outreach, community engagement, that all has to be done. Again, I'm not the most expert in these situations. I can see something and I see that is pointing to south. I can talk to people, but I think we all have to, because without this dialogue in the society, nothing would change. Everyone will point a finger at each other and wonder what happened to the most livable city in the world. And I don't want to be here another 20 years down the line looking at the society and wonder why nobody did anything. So I want people to have the discussion, people to talk, people to address their fears. No fear is, you know, that can't be taught. If you have something, say something. And when you don't talk, that's when the society goes down. And that's where I would end this video. Hope you have a good Sunday, and I'll come back next week with another video with something like this, maybe relevant policies and topics that are happening around us, and I'll bring Carmen back.